never wanted that game to end. Welcome to NBA Today. We're only 11 days away from the end of the regular season and the race for the postseason. It has never been tighter. It's one of those, if you don't jump to put your jeans on, that's the energy here in the Western Conference. Coming into action last night, seeds 3 through 8. They were separated by only 4 games, but things got shaken like a salt shaker last night when the game of the year tipped off in the Mile High City between Anthony Edwards' Wolves and Frame. Fourth quarter here. Danny Green, Kendrick Perkins.
Yeah, Jokic over 40% from 3. Can't leave him open.
Too small.
Jokic.
Look at that deep seal in the paint.
Bodying his way inside there. Anthony Edwards, though, started heating up here. He only had 10 points entering the fourth quarter. He picked it up right here, Kendrick Perkins.
Absolutely. And look, shooting that tray ball with confidence. Siakam, he's very comfortable in that building.
The Denver Nuggets had a 16-point lead, right, at one point in this one?
You know, Jokic gets it at that nail spot. That nail area is hard to guard him, hard to send double teams. Watch him take advantage of it last night.
So that foul would be it for the evening for Rudy Gobert. Nikola Jokic hits the free throws. So we're headed to overtime here. 2.5 left in the first overtime. Edwards.
Before the double team comes, quick move.
Right wing jumper. A minute later, still a 6-point game. Jokic hits the 3 at the top of the key. Denver within
6 trays.
12 seconds left here. The Nuggets down 2 with the side out. Jokic gets a switch here on Anthony Edwards off the inbounds play.
This is just too easy.
Back it up. Hits the game-tying floater. So, yes, you guessed it. If you wanted to go to bed early, this would not be the night. We're headed to a second overtime. And look how many minutes Jokic and Edwards have played up until this point. And we have another overtime to go. Early in the second overtime here, Jokic.
The way he's catching that ball,
Pivot.
That nail, you cannot send the double team.
Just over 2 minutes left. Nuggets now up by 1 here. This would be called as a goaltend on Jaden McDaniels. That gives Jokic 60 on the night in a triple-double. Just the 3rd in NBA history. So just over a minute left here. The Wolves down by 1. Anthony Edwards bodies his way inside. Minnesota now back up by 1. And
Russ
then
cannot give up that back cut.
I did not like that this was a jump ball, but that's neither here nor there. On the jump ball, McDaniels called for the foul on Jokic. Another look there. You can see McDaniels grabs the arm of Jokic. He'd make 1 of 2 at the line to take a 1-point lead here. And then 17 seconds left. The Wolves down 1. Edwards gets the ball, but turns it over. Russell Westbrook takes it the other way, goes coast to coast.
Oh, man.
Can't get the layup to go. And then still Denver with a 1-point lead, trying to hang on, kicks it out to the corner, the 3. It's no good, and just as fans begin to celebrate, they realize that Russell Westbrook called for a foul on the 3-point play. Time expiring here. At the line, no more stressful moment than this. Alexander Walker, big 26-point performance, perhaps the wildest game of the year. Here's Anthony Edwards after the game.
He made big shots for us all night long, every quarter. Whenever we needed it, he came through in the clutch. He made the right plays. He was poised down the stretch. So whatever I did don't matter. What he did, he was the MVP tonight.
So the Wolves have now won 6 straight games against the Nuggets, including the playoffs. And besides last night, they've not really been close. Minnesota winning by almost 18 points a game. There are nights when it's hard to fall asleep. This is why we love the NBA. Let's start with the Stars, Perk. A huge night here from Nikola Jokic in a 60-point triple-double.
And just a simple reminder of his greatness, but also when we talk about the MVP conversation, that's beneath him. When we talk about the best player in the world conversation, that's beneath him. It's time to have different conversations about Jokic. He's already a top 20 greatest player of all time. Now you start to ask, where do he rank for his top centers?
Is that a knock-knock?
Knocking at the door at number 5. Knocking at the door at number 5. I don't have him there yet, DG, because I feel like he needs one more championship to get into that top 5, because you have guys like, Kareem. You have guys like Bill Russell, Shaq. But what he's doing right now this year, what he did last night, was a reminder that it's time to have different conversations about him outside of MVP and best player in the league. He's done that for the last 3 years.
Definitely. It's a shame that he still might not win MVP because his team's standing. But the numbers, the historic season he's had, we've seen LeBron James, he could have won it multiple times. We've seen Kobe should have gotten it a couple times. Many other guys should have gotten it. He's in the conversation with those guys that are the greatest ever, lace him up. And he should be getting his flowers, rightfully so. It's just sad to see that he's able to close out these wins with having these type of performances and his team not being higher in the standing.
But what's cool is when you're able to see two players go toe-to-toe. It wasn't a 60-point triple-double, but Anthony Edwards, it was a slow burn, but he really got to go in there in the fourth and overtime. What did you see on his side?
Yeah, no, he picked it up. You know, that's what he's supposed to do. He's a star. He showed up. I mean, Julius Randle's been playing really well also, but he found his rhythm, got to the spots, not only made shots, but he made plays. He found the guys when they doubled. He got to the free throw line some, but he started knocking down his threes. You know, sometimes eventually a star is going to get hot. You know, you take enough shots, stay aggressive. I loved his aggressiveness. I love that he loved to take over. I still want to see him take it up just a little bit of a notch in that overtime situation where he could have been more aggressive, but he did everything he was supposed to do as a superstar player.
This was, I mean, this was the game of the year, right, Perk?
Yeah, yeah, I think it topped the Cleveland OKC game.
That one was pretty good, but it was right up there. These are the nights that it's like you're already looking forward to coming into the show the next day to be able to dissect every angle of this game. But even though last night it was the game of the year, it didn't come without some mistakes from both sides. Here's what Chris Finch had to say about Anthony Edwards being double-teamed late and the Wolves' late game execution.
He knew it was coming, and getting off of it, I thought we'd get an advantage. Thought Julius maybe should have just let it fly on the first one, and then he kind of sidestepped. Then the one in the post in double overtime, the slip was going to be there, but yeah, Ant gave it up, and he's making the right play there.
I feel awful for Russ. That last play, we get the turnover, we don't convert, and then the foul. But it was not from a lack of effort or care. And sometimes it goes like that.
Listen, emotion make you cry sometimes, damn it. But last night was a brawl for it all. I got my boy DG up here. Combined, we got a whole lot of championships, a whole lot of finals experience. We got to talk about some of the things that we saw last night on the bad side of things. I'm going to let DG talk about Minnesota, Anthony Edwards, which he highlighted minutes ago, about how he could have been more aggressive.
Yeah, this is a situation, well, first time, 112 tied up. The first double team, you don't expect it coming. They try to set a horns action. Julius Randle, okay, I'll live with him taking a shot. Didn't hit the rim, but he got a decent look. Same scenario right here. Tied up, 7 seconds. You know the double team's coming. At this point, you got to know, Anthony Edwards, you got to find a counter to make sure you get the last shot. Double team comes again. He could have been way more aggressive in this situation. Just let it happen. Found his guys. They get Nickeil Alexander-Walker for the one dribble pull-up. Another shot that does not hit the rim. He's not happy with the situation. I put a lot of this on Finch and not finding counter moves to get Anthony Edwards and put him in the right positions to not get double teamed. Like you said, that nail area is where you kind of want to get him. You put him in a bad spot here. Another situation in the corner where they get a double. Next you know, turnover. Throws the ball away to Russell Westbrook. Perk, tell me what happens in this situation. It's hard for me to watch this.
Well, what happened is this, okay? One, Russ got to make that layup. That's a second-grade layup right there, like textbook transition, 2-on-1, and now all of a sudden you're in transition, right? So now you're trying to find man. You see guys are scrambling, and Russ, the competitive guy that he is, he closed out on the shooter, and then unfortunately he fouls him, and now all of a sudden Alexander Walker goes to the line, knocked down 3 free throws, and the rest is history. But let me tell you something about this man right here. I see the internet going crazy and blaming Russ about the loss. Yes, could he have made the layup? Absolutely. But the foul, that's just the competitive nature. He's a future Hall of Famer. By the way, he's done more this season for the Denver Nuggets on the good side of things to have them, number 3 in the Western Conference than he has on the bad side. I know we saw a historic night from Jokié last night. I know they wanted to get the win for him. But at the end of the day, man, let's not disrespect this man too much from the competitive side of things, the way he competes night in and night out. I'm pretty sure Russell Westbrook lost sleep last night behind that game.
Yeah, there was definitely some frustrations. You saw Aaron Gordon leaving the floor even before the game ended, and there's surely some things the Nuggets would like to do differently the next time they face the Wolves, again, maybe in the postseason. That had to be Steph Curry's feeling back in December, the last time the Warriors played the Grizzlies, and he didn't have a field goal. You do not want to be on the other side of a chef flambe, and that's what we saw last night. The Warriors and the Grizzlies, a little flambe. That's 7'4" Zach Edey 3 for anyone with a measuring stick out there. Curry hits the 3 with a hand in his face.
Stop leaving big men on the island with Steph, man. It's unfair.
19-point first quarter for Curry, his most in a first quarter since 2021. And Steph wasn't done in the second. Draymond with the steal, leading the break here. Warriors moving around. Steph Curry in the corner. Can't leave that man.
They know who to find.
Can't leave that man. About a minute later, Curry hits deep wing 3 there. 8 made threes in the half for Curry. Quentin Post, your thoughts on the first half?
I don't know why I'm here. Steph got 40 points, but
we don't know either, but I really enjoyed that. John Morant turned it up, though, in the third. Here, hits a little floater, plus the foul. And then, going ahead to less than a minute later here, Morant hides behind the screen, hits the 3. Grizzlies still in it, despite that first half from Curry.
No, they fought. They showed a lot of character, came back, and this is a team that said, we're not just going to die down.
Fake, Curry.
That's deflating, man.
27th game
back
for
in
Curry.
Transition.
And that was
10 or more threes.
Pretty good defense.
That's deflating.
Going to the fourth quarter here, under 6 to play. Memphis up by 1. Curry operating again. Gets inside for the layup.
Don't get enough credit for his ability to finish around the basket.
Memphis still hanging around, though. Santi Aldama hits the 3 to put Memphis back up by 2 here. So we were in for a good finish. 3 minutes left. The Warriors down 2. Golden State, once again, it's the ball movement, Dan.
And you see Draymond, he knows who to find. He was wide open.
3 for Steph Curry.
A couple threes, but he said, let me get the ball to Steph.
Steph finished with 52, rather. Just over a minute left. Curry misses, but Brandon Podziemski there for a huge putback tip-in. And then under a minute left, the Warriors up 5. You know what? Moses Moody said, I see Steph. I can do that, too.
He's been playing some pretty damn good basketball, too, Malik.
Golden State hangs on to win this one, 134-125. Here's Steph Curry after a record-setting night.
That was the first 2 threes of the fourth quarter. I definitely was thinking about Clay in Chicago. This is as close as I've been with the amount of time left. But then after that, reality check. We got to win the game, so we don't want to sabotage anything.
And, of course, you know something's going on when you see Steph Curry highlights all over. Perk and I were filming something late last night here in studio, and all of a sudden we started getting these notifications. I said, Perk, we got to turn this on. My favorite was the Vince Carter meme, though, you see there. And then here now we can take some stock of the standings after those incredible games last night. The Warriors, they switched places with the Grizzlies. They moved into 5th. So, yes, that is right. They would take on the Lakers if the season ended today. Huge, though, that they got a tiebreaker with that win. Expect plenty more movement with just 1 game separating those 5 and 8 seeds. Perk, what does this win mean for Golden State?
Most impressive win of the season for Golden State since Jimmy arrived. I've been asking for that signature win. They went down there in Memphis and got it. And we know it's some beef and tension between Golden State and Memphis.
John Morant has straight up said, I don't like Lakers. And I think he feels
and they booed Draymond in there, right?
Yeah.
And so
for good reason.
You think about Memphis too. They were like they needed a win. They were competing. John Morant had one of his best games in weeks, and all of a sudden Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, both along with the Warriors have that one moment like, okay, yeah. They got that it factor.
I mean, Memphis said they've been whooping, Golden State's been whooping that trick for a while now. But speaking of Jimmy, he just gives so much different looks for them. Another dynamic. As you see in some of those clips, they're doubling Jimmy. I'm like, how can you double Jimmy when Steph Curry's on the floor? When he has a mismatch in the post, he's one of those guys that brings a different, like he can get to the free throw line, he can do different things, but he's another guy that can draw a double team. And when you got a guy that can draw a double team, you have Steph Curry on the floor, and of course you get open the floor for Moses Moody and other guys like Podziemski to knock down threes. It makes the game that much easier. Free throw differential, which won this game for them, Jimmy, that was 28 for 28, and Jimmy's a big part of that.
They found a starting lineup. I know Steve Kerr loves to tinker with the lineup, but this starting lineup they have found something with when it's Curry, Green, Moody, Podziemski, Butler. They're 12-0 when that group starts. We got a lot to get to on our show today, including where do things stand between Phoenix and Kevin Durant, and what are his most likely destinations come the off season. Could he stay in Phoenix? Is he going elsewhere? Sham stopping by to fill us in. And speaking of the Suns, they got eclipsed in a big way by Giannis and the Bucks last night. We recap a historic night in Milwaukee that had the whole league talking. And is there some good news on the horizon for the New York Knicks, Perk? We do have a live report coming up after the break. We could see when Jalen Brunson could be back on Broadway. Keep it locked. More NBA Today after this.